Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting off-season episode with your host, Paul Doski. I've been trying to get a hold of this guy for a couple weeks or so now, but he's finally here. So you may know him on Twitch as Masuka101, but I'm going to give him the chance to introduce himself. So, Jack, please say hello.
Hello, I'm Jack. I stream on Twitch, and that's where I met Paul. Actually, he was my first regular viewer on Twitch, so that's pretty cool. About 3 years ago now, I think it was, wasn't it?
It was definitely when the first Outlast came out. So was it 3 years ago? I think it was 2014.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was about 3 years ago.
Yep.
But yeah, like Paul said, I stream on Twitch, and yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, you were just saying earlier on the stream that you were changing your Twitch name.
Yes, I'm gonna go through I'm going through an identity crisis at the moment. And I really want to change my Twitch name because I don't like my Twitch name at the moment. So,
Well, what's your goal of it? I guess what made you go? I think I want to change my name. What kind of started that? I guess.
well, when I first made my name it was 10 years ago. So my likes and dislikes have changed, and it's sort of stuck me to the past, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So I think a change would be good. I don't particularly like it because it doesn't really mean anything. It's not really personal, and it's quite hard to spell, and people always say it wrong and stuff like that.
So you're looking for something more easier and more something memorable, kind of something easy to remember. Pretty much is what you're looking for.
yes, yeah, and something more personal to me as well.
Yeah, 'cause that would be good too. As long as you like it and it's personal, or even if it's not personal, as long as you just like it, then hey, I mean, all for it, man. I hope that one day you do find that right name for yourself.
I just need to have an epiphany, and
I
I've
think
got all
we
these
all do.
names written down on this whiteboard that people have been giving me. So hopefully a good one will pop out soon.
Well, maybe put them all in a hat. Maybe write them all down, put them in a hat, and grab one. Go by that.
That's a good idea, actually. If I can't
Or
decide soon, I'll do that.
Or maybe I don't know if there's a way, but does Discord maybe offer a poll where you could add them to a poll and people can vote on what one they like the best?
Okay, yeah, that could
Yeah,
be good.
I mean, there's different ways we could probably go about this, but yeah. So let's get on with the horror interview here. So let's start you off with what got you into horror. What kind of draw your attention, dragged you into it, or terrified you?
In regards to me being into horror, I do like horror. I'm not a huge, huge, huge fan. I used to be, but not anymore. My tastes have changed over recent years. But the few things that I can remember from my childhood and recent times that made horror quite a good, not good, but a part of my life that was significant. So back in the day, I had a Sega Dreamcast, and there was a game on there. It was a puzzle game. There were ghosts in this house and stuff like that. And I literally can't remember what the game was called. But that was kind of my first
Taste at it?
taste of horror, I guess.
Your first kind of
Um,
glimpse of it, maybe? Or taste?
yeah, it was I can't remember what the game was called, but
Don't
it was
don't
pretty
feel
scary,
bad.
and it was
Don't feel bad. I don't even know which one you're talking about because I didn't really have a Dreamcast, so I wouldn't know what you're talking about anyway. But
yeah, it was years and years and years ago.
right, I don't even think
In
that lasted
terms of
long. Just,
sorry,
did it last long? Because I don't even remember.
uh, no, I think it lasted 4 years maybe. I might just be making it up, but It didn't seem to last very long.
No. But I had a friend that had like every console back then, and Dreamcast was one of them. But he never really played it either. He was more like PlayStation or Nintendo or something else. But hardly ever touched the Dreamcast. So I kind of.
Yeah, I remember that fishing game. Oh my god.
The fishing game.
Yeah, the little controller.
Oh god.
Did you say fishing?
Did you say fishing?
I said fishing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I said the fishing game, and then I said, "Oh my god." I think I know which one you're talking about too. But everybody has had to have played. Maybe even you, maybe not. I mean, I won't judge if you haven't. But duck hunting. I mean, I think we all played duck hunting when we were little.
Back on the SNES or NES.
Yeah, it was like the Nintendo, like where you could put it on the wall, I believe. If my memory serves me correctly. God, am I really that old?
No, I can't remember.
I can't either. But, so Sega Dreamcast, you would say, is what kind of maybe got you into it at first with this puzzle game that we're not really remembering the name of?
Yeah, there was that. And another game I remember that I had on the Dreamcast was House of the Dead 2.
Phenomenal game.
If you remember that game.
I do. I remember playing it at the arcade and on PS3, to be honest. Which is actually,
oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, they brought back the House of the Dead for PS3. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yep. They brought it out because of the whole PlayStation Move. If that was what it was called, if I remember correctly. God, it's been years.
Oh, yeah, the Move, yeah.
Yeah, they
brought...
Go ahead.
The Grindhouse sort of one.
The Grindhouse? You mean Overkill?
It was like had a Grindhouse style.
Are we still talking like House of the Dead? Or are we talking something else?
Yeah, House of the Dead.
Was it Overkill? I know they made Overkill, like
Yeah, Overkill, that's the one.
Yeah. That was actually pretty decent, to be honest. I didn't mind that one. But the old...
Yeah, it had good, a lot of people like that, actually. And it was, like, very, like, bonkers, if I remember.
Yes. I felt it definitely required somebody else to play with, though. So...
Yeah, it was like a fun game you could, like, just have a laugh with, you know? It wasn't like a serious
Oh, God,
game,
yeah. I mean, you're just killing zombies while shooting whatever up. So, yeah, it was definitely fun. That story, though, was different, I guess I'll say. Like, it was definitely different than, like, your normal House of the Dead, like, arcade games. Like, where you're actually going into, like, this creepy mansion and shooting up the place or whatever, so.
Yeah. There's a good, different take on it, so that's good.
Yeah. So what about, like, horror films, though? Like, did any horror films kind of strike you to be like, oh, this is good enough kind of thing?
Yes. Well, between me and my friends and my brother and sister, horror films are always like a taboo, really. So it kind of got to a stage where we thought we shouldn't be watching them because they are scary, so they made us want to watch them a bit more. And the first film I can remember, like, actually watching, I did have to turn it off halfway through, was Sleepy Hollow.
Really?
So, yeah, this was when I was very young, though.
Well, let me ask you this. What part, though? What part did he have to shut it off at?
When I turned it off, you know when he's going to see, there's like a woman and she jumps at the screen. I can't remember the exact bit.
Oh, when Ichabod Crane, a.k.a. Johnny Depp, is in the cave with the witch, where she's got herself chained to the chair.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I know we are.
Turn off.
So pretty much before all the good stuff happens.
I know, yeah. But I have watched it fully since, so.
And did you enjoy it at least?
I loved it, yeah. I thought it was all great. It's such a good atmosphere and it's brilliant. Such a good film. But that was probably the first horror film that I sort of remember like thinking this is pretty good, but also like pretty scary. So also I think I rented it from a Blockbuster, so that tells you how old it is.
Wow. Yeah, Blockbuster. Oh boy, be careful. We might be speaking. We're gonna be the dinosaurs pretty soon.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. I actually found my Blockbuster card like when I was cleaning out my wallet like a few months ago, actually, and I'm like, oh my god.
Oh.
But what? So this is just out of curiosity, but have you seen like the Silent Hill films or like how about John Carpenter's like Halloween or John Carpenter's The Thing? Did you ever see those?
I have seen The Thing. That is a fantastic film, I must say.
Yes, I actually just watched it last
I haven't
night.
seen Halloween.
What? Damn.
Well, I don't think I have anyway.
You don't remember Michael Myers?
No, like back in like I said back in the day, films were like we weren't meant to be watching them, if you know what I mean.
Right,
So,
right. Right. As you're little, you're like, I don't know if I should be watching this.
Yeah.
So, since it's kind of goes with like the episode name, but did any of this stuff ever like give you nightmares? Like, did you ever watch something like or saw a part when you were young and it kind of gave you that nightmare, or it kind of gave you that like creep where you would like, I don't know, let's just say like one night you had to get up to go get a drink or a bathroom, and then you would be kind of like turning on the lights because you didn't want whatever to be there in the halls.
It's happened a lot of times. Not gonna lie, but the one that's most like vivid in my brain is 13 Ghosts.
Oh, jeez.
I know it's like a terrible film.
It is,
but
so good though.
there's a ghost in it. I think it's called the Jackal. It's got like a cage over its head. I was terrified of that. I definitely had like nightmares, like one or two nightmares about that.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen the film, even though I own it, which I'm actually staring at it right now. Like, maybe I should watch this tonight. But anyway,
just watch it. Remind you how bad it is.
Right? How bad, but how good it was too, in a weird way. But yeah.
Yeah, like even though it was a bad film, because it had like stuff that got me like proper scared, I kind of liked it. So
right. All right. So you mentioned you were a streamer. So how did it feel like the first time you streamed?
First time I streamed, I played Zombies, Call of Duty Zombies, back in probably like 2012 maybe. And I was going for a world record on, I think, the map Ascension. I don't know if you play Zombies, Paul. I assume not.
On Call of Duty?
Yeah.
I used to. Before I quit
Okay.
Call of Duty. So, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So, yeah, that was the first stream I did. And
Would
I
that
remember I got 20 viewers.
Would that like the 400 wave or round or whatever? Like, was it up on your YouTube before you made your stuff private? Was it that one? I think it was like 400. I could be wrong.
No, that was round 500 on Shino Numa, and that was just me playing offline.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Those days are gone though.
Yeah.
It was a lot easier on that map to get a higher round. So.
Okay. But yeah, but you were saying, so you were streaming Zombies with like 20 viewers, you were saying.
Yeah. And it felt, I remember I was streaming off my laptop and I couldn't get the game sound and the microphone working at the same time.
Oh no!
So
oh boy!
I just had to switch like between if people were asking questions and stuff, and it was such like a convoluted setup. I had about 3 different bits of software just all like going into each other just to get the stream out, and it's a nightmare. So I kind of gave up on streaming for a ages until I played Outlast and the PS4 and the Xbox. Well, I have a PS4, so the PS4 made it really easy to stream.
Right.
So that's when I started streaming Outlast. And man, that was scary.
Yeah, we're actually about to talk about Outlast, actually, because I know that's how I met you, which was interesting. I still remember that day. I was still jobless, and I just barely got done like playing the game, and that one day came about when I was just bored and stuff. I was just like, I wonder who's streaming this, and then I happened to find your channel. Because I believe at the time you were like the only one streaming it. So I was just like, oh, okay. Well, I'll see how this guy's doing. And so I'm just watching. And then I say, my hey and whatever. And then I'm just watching some more. And then out of nowhere, you're just like, God, I don't know what to do. And then...
It was the fuses, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
It was the fuses, and I was like,
yeah. Yeah, and then it was the part where you were kind of not wanting to go after your camcorder when it fell through the cracks of the floor.
Oh, yes, that bit, yeah. I was like, I'm not going down there. I swear to God, I'm not going down there.
I ain't going down there, but I do got to go down there, don't I? Yeah. Oh, damn it. Yeah, that was some good times. So, how did you like Outlast? Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. I don't know if enjoy is the right word.
Okay, well, what would you use for a word?
It was an experience. It got me, like... I don't know, it was kind of like going back to, like, all the horror films and stuff, like, back in the day, if you know what I mean.
So it made you feel like a little kid
jump
again.
Scares and sort of, yeah. As if like we weren't like I wasn't meant to be playing it, but I obviously could, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that sounds a bit stupid, but
hey, we all have moments. I mean, I remember having to look up parts on Outlast 2 because I was kind of confused on where to go. But then when I saw it, I was just like, oh, well, I kind of feel like an idiot, even though I'm not an idiot, but... It was kind of just obvious, but it wasn't obvious at the time, I guess. Maybe because after Chris Walker chasing you so many times, you're kind of just like, okay, I need to calm down for a minute.
Yeah. They're not that scary once they've got you a few times. So calm down.
Yeah, what did you think of Chris Walker, or even Traeger? But we'll start with Chris Walker. But what did you think of him?
Chris Walker, when I first saw the design, I wasn't really like a big fan of it, to be honest, because like the first time I saw it, I thought, oh, it's just another scary dude. There wasn't really anything
new,
original or like new until you start diving into like the deeper story of the characters and stuff. So as you know, he was. He's ex-soldier, isn't he?
Yeah, he was an ex-military guy. And then they somehow, like, did an experiment with him, which I forget if it went wrong or if this to them succeeded, but either way, yeah, that's pretty much what happened to him.
It probably went wrong.
Yeah, I'm assuming it did.
But, yeah, he chases you around, doesn't he? And you clearly think, oh, he's a bad guy. That's like your first impression of him. But if you read some of the notes and stuff, then I don't know if you agree with me here, but it's kind of like Chris Walker's trying. It's such like a roundabout way of doing it, but he's trying to kill you to keep the Walrider in the actual asylum and not let it get out.
Right.
Because the Walrider needs a human to possess and get out, if you know what I mean.
Right.
I don't know if you agree with that, but that's how I
Well, we'll
found
get
it.
to that in a minute, but I kind of see what you're saying, so I kind of do agree with you, especially the way Outlast ended. So that would make sense, and that's why, spoiler alert, which everybody should know this by now anyway, since it's been like 4 years old technically, because Outlast was first released on PC before PS4, but Walrider killed Chris Walker. So, do you think Walrider took out Chris Walker because of the fact that he was like trying to do like what you were saying, trying to take you out because he didn't want Walrider to have you?
Yes, I think that makes sense. It's because he's about to kill you, isn't he, Chris Walker?
Right.
When the Walrider when the Walrider vents its anger on Chris Walker.
Probably the best part in the game. Well, best unique part, yeah. How about Traeger? What do you think of Traeger the first time meeting him, the doctor?
I was terrified of him to start with, like actually terrified, because he like this is a good like Traeger's a very good character. He's very charismatic, which is very unusual for a villain, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So I like that about him. He was funny as well. So
Yeah. Like when you're in the wheelchair and he's like showing you the door that's open and he's just like, "Run, be free," and then he just kind of like,
yeah.
Then he just like,
"I want to, but you're not letting me. Come on."
Yeah. Then he said something else before he starts taking you away again, and then you're in the operating chair, and then so I don't know. Did you pan to the right to see what he grabbed, or did you kind of focus on like your chair area before he grabbed a big?
First time I played it, I did pan to the right, and I did look what he was doing.
So, did you happen to see him pick up the scissors? Because I believe you can see him pick up the scissors, I think.
You can see him pick up the scissors. Out of the urinal.
Yeah, the urinal. But, so yeah, what was your reaction when he cut off 2 of your fingers?
I was, like, proper, like, disgusted by it. I mean, that is the thing. I've seen gory films and everything, but I don't know, because I don't know, like, because I hadn't really played a first-person horror game properly before.
Right.
It was the first time I kind of like grew to like the character that I was playing as.
Right.
And that made it a bit more intense, if you know what I mean. Because you felt like it was actually doing it to...
Right. It's almost like you could feel it yourself, kind of deal.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
Like, have you ever seen the movie Teeth?
I haven't, but...
You know what it's about,
on my
though.
list to watch. I do, yeah.
Okay, yeah. We won't need to go there anymore then. But I'm trying to remember. Before the DLC came out, didn't you start to speed run Outlast as well?
We pretty much did everything we could on it. So, insane mode and everything. And then I saw a lot of other people in the Twitch category speedrun it. And I'd watch those and I thought, I could do that, so give it a go. So, yeah, I just literally started speedrunning it, and it was...
Yeah, I know you did your homework,
it was so much fun.
Yeah, I know you did your homework, too, because you were saying, like, you were looking up so many different ways to get past certain parts. Kind of like the whole, I'm trying to remember the part, but when you have to shut down the reactor from the Walrider there, where you kind of jumped on the desk or the rail guard there.
Like that was jump, yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. And then there was a couple others that were interesting.
Yeah, there's a few skips on there. They're like I got proper obsessed with it. Maybe kind of even addicted. I don't know if you can say that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was obsessed with speedrunning, and I really liked the game anyway, so I wanted to play it as much as I could.
Right.
And the live stream seemed to like it as well, so...
Oh, yeah, it was
Yeah.
probably one of the most viewed games on Twitch at the time, anyway, that I know of, for horror game-wise. But yeah, so DLC, which was Whistleblower, which came out like 3 months after the main game, when it came out to PS4. So what were you thinking of the DLC before you went into it? Like, did you have any thoughts like is this gonna be scarier? Because I know they kind of showed you the cannibal at first, but they never showed the other guy, which was Eddie, aka the groom. So like when you went into the DLC, were you kind of like, oh shit, what am I in for? I mean, or did you kind of go in like, oh, I got this?
I knew I was going to have a hard time because I was actually terrified of the main game. Like, literally terrified. Whistleblower DLC, like you said, you saw the cannibal before, and it was. So I've lost my train of thought.
It's all good, dude. The cannibal, yeah. What do you how about this? What do you think of the cannibal when you first saw him? Which he was like, I want to say eating somebody. Like the blood splatters on the windows or the glass that he's in, and then you see him, and then he's just like talking about like trying to get you because you're fresh meat, and then he tried to burn you. There's another like speedrun glitch thing there that I can't even remember, but there's something there, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, did you? What were your thoughts on the cannibal? I guess like, what did you think of the cannibal as a character or villain?
I like the cannibal as a villain because you weren't like the first time you see him, you kind of see him through a window, don't you? And you don't really know
What to expect?
what he's doing or anything, and you get a bit closer and you realise, oh, he's eating people.
Yep, I do. So how about?
He's not the scariest.
No, I wouldn't say he is either, but he is everywhere at one point.
Yeah, he seems to be everywhere at all times. Like a saw, his little saw thing, you can hear it buzzing through like the walls and stuff, and
Right, yeah.
that's scary.
Yeah.
The sound of like what you think you're getting into is scary.
Right. So what about the groom, aka Eddie? What do you think of that guy? Like the one that Red Barrow didn't tell you about because they wanted him to be a surprise.
Oh my god. I remember I was live streaming my first playthrough of it, and everyone was going. They didn't give anything away on the chat, which I was very surprised about.
Wow.
You normally get spoiled a lot.
Wow. Yes. I agree.
But everyone was going, "Oh, you're in for it. Watch out in a minute." I was like, "Oh my god, what's going to go on in a minute?" Oh my god. And yeah, that's probably like everyone's favourite bit for some reason. I don't know if everyone knows what we're talking about. But...
yeah, the part when you like gotta hide from him in that locker thing, and then he like dragged you to another room because he pretty much expected you to go into that locker to trap you.
Yeah,
and
he's basically trapped you. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's clever, man.
Yep. And then he like you wake up like I don't know how many hours later, and then you see that one victim who like. I can't even remember now, gets his ball cut, then you got another guy that, like, gets stabbed in the chest or some shit, and then another one, his face gets planted on the saw, and then you're up on the table.
Then you're up on the table, yeah. Basically, he wants to have a family, and he needs a wife, apparently, for a family.
Yep.
However, there's no females in the asylum because in the story, in the deeper story, all of the women were taken out for some reason. And so, to get a wife, he basically tries to attempt to give literally every man in there a sex change.
Right.
So he can have a family.
Yeah. So what do you think of him, though? Like, as you were, like, trying to get away from him, like, after the whole almost being, what was the word he gave? Something about, like, giving birth to his family kind of deal. Like, he's going to snip there, snip here, and then you're going to be all set. It's just like, huh?
Yeah, you're on the table, and he tells you, he's going, like, he's telling you what he's going to do to you while you're on the table. And then, just as he's about to, I don't know, perform the operation.
Yeah, we'll just say that.
Then he gets, that dude comes and saves you, doesn't he?
Pretty much, yeah. He, like, saved you right at, like, the most perfect time into...
The perfect moment, yeah.
I actually enjoyed Eddie before he ends up getting killed, which, I believe I heard something that the Wall Rider actually kills Eddie when you're getting choked by him, like, near the end. I don't know if you heard anything about that.
I always thought the roof collapsed or something, but I don't know. I've never really understood how he dies.
I hear the Wall Rider comes in to save you, and that's why he gets hung up there. So, and then, like, the Wall Rider grabs you down, because at this case, it's not really Wall Rider, it's the other character there, Miles, at this point in time. So, from what I hear, it's Miles as the Wall Rider trying to save you. Trying to let you escape kind of thing.
Alright, okay. I didn't know that. Flip.
Well, that's what I hear, because in a way, it kind of makes sense, because then you see Wall Rider again near the end, just as you're about to walk out of the asylum. What's-his-face pushes you back, and then he says something like, you ain't gonna escape the asylum to rat on us, or whatever, and then Wall Rider comes in and tears them apart. Yeah. And then he comes in, or not the priest guy, the other guy. You know, the one that destroyed the radio? Him, that guy.
Yeah, the suit, the guy in the suit.
Yeah, the guy in the suit. I think he's, like, part of the, what was the corporation? Markov Corporation.
Murkoff Corporation.
Yeah, Murkoff, yeah.
He was a scary character, to be honest. I found him pretty scary. Even though he wasn't a monster.
But the fact that he was kind of, like, in the shadows watching.
Just, like, pure evil, you know?
Right.
All this stuff's going on, and all he wants to do is save his own skin, and he's willing to, like, kill to
right.
Like, keep his reputation and stuff.
Right. But yeah, so you verse the suit man at the very end, which he pushes you down, he's about to, like, stab you or some shit, but then Wall Rider, or Miles, at this point, he kills him. And then you can walk out the door. Kind of like when you get into my old Jeep, and when you pull out the camcorder one last time and turn it into night vision, you can actually see Miles in his true form as the Wall Rider walking out of the asylum. So he's kind of like, I finally got out of the asylum kind of deal. Even though he's not in body form, he's in the Wall Rider form, I guess we'll say.
Yeah. I guess, but the Wall Rider wants to get out as well, don't they? So I don't know what happens after that. So you can find out in Outlast 2.
I don't know, because actually this comes to the next thing. So before we talk about Outlast 2, did you actually know that after Whistleblower, Red Barrel Games actually put out 4 free Outlast comics about the Murkoff Corporation? Oh, you did?
I haven't read them.
You haven't?
No, I should probably read them.
I would actually read them, man. They're 25 pages long. I know they're digital, but it doesn't really take you that long to read them. But it's actually really unique, cool what they talk about. Like they talk about Christian Traeger, and I believe they actually show you what they looked like before whatever happened to them, the experiments or whatever. And then it goes into what was the final reporter's name in the DLC of Whistleblower? What was his name? You remember?
The coder that you play as. Flip. I can't remember.
I can't remember. Well, anyway, since you escape out of the asylum through Miles Jeep, it actually continues his story. So you actually get to see more of his story a little bit.
Okay, because you see him upload all the data, don't you?
Right. Yeah, and his family's in trouble
So
and all that.
Is it after that, or?
Yeah, it's right after that. Yep. It takes place right after that.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to look these up after.
It's right on redbarrelgames.com. It's right under their comics section on their website, which I will also post the link again after this podcast is over for anybody still that haven't read them still. But they are very entertaining. But yeah, so Outlast 2, Jack, did you play the Outlast 2 demo?
I did, and I thought it was really good. I know, like, a few people said they didn't really like it. It was a bit different, but I really enjoyed it.
Well, what did you enjoy about it? What?
I don't know if enjoyed is the right word.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, what did you?
Yeah.
What did you like about it? We'll just say.
I like the setting.
So you like the fact that it was like
desert.
a farm environment, like a big farm instead of like one small building at the asylum?
Yeah, I thought it was a good setting, because I've always found, like, stuff in the middle of nowhere is scary, because you're on your own, you've got no help around and stuff.
Right.
So I thought that was good. It is proper messed up, and that was only a small snippet. Like,
Right.
there was something in there I didn't really want to see. That was only the demo.
Right. But so what do you think of the we're calling him the tongue monster because we don't know his real name yet, but what do you think of this tongue monster guy? When you're like hearing these weird sounds like coming from the well, and then you creep up to the well, and then you get pulled down because the tongue grabs you and pretty much drags you down into the school. How did you play out that part?
I knew so well. Something was going to come out of the well. I just didn't know what.
Right.
So when it was like a big tongue thing, it was very different to what Outlast for me was. So
right.
There hasn't been really any like huge monsters or anything. So it was a bit of a surprise.
Right.
I'm interested to see what they do with it.
Well, what did you think of? Did you get scared, by the way, when you're in the school, or did you like happen to pull out your camcorder after you set off the music box, and then like the walkers start going crazy? But did you hide in the locker, or did you actually stay out in the hallway with your camcorder with the night vision? Because if you actually stay out in the hallway with the night vision, you can actually see this weird dark shadow thing like zip by you.
I did stay out, yeah.
Did you happen to pan it, though, with the night vision, or did you not even do that?
I did, yeah.
Okay. So did you see the shadow figure thing?
I saw something. I nearly fell off my chair when he jumped out at me.
Right. Yeah.
It was horrible.
That guy seemed really interesting. Just like the guy
I actually
that
live
chases
streamed
you.
that as well.
Nice.
And there's a video on my Twitch of me doing the jump scare.
Nice. Yeah, me and Tessa, my girlfriend, we did like a commentary video while I was playing the demo for like the second time. She was helping me give thoughts on the demo kind of deal, and what our thoughts were for like Outlast 2. But so after playing the demo, what are you kind of looking forward to for Outlast 2? Like, kind of like I mentioned this, or yeah, like I mentioned this before, just like Tessa did with her all lady episode about Outlast the horror. Um, do you hope that they deliver Outlast 2? And what I mean by that is like, do you hope they make it scarier than the first one and not watered down?
Yes, I think. Well, I believe Red Barrel's can. After the demo, I believe they can make it like 10 times scarier than Outlast One. And Outlast One was flipping scary, so I'm sure they can do it, and I hope they do it because that's
Right,
like the reason I played Outlast because it was scary. Yeah.
right. Which, out of curiosity, how did you first hear of Outlast?
The first time I saw Outlast was I think I saw a few people on YouTube play it. I didn't watch any full playthroughs. They were just doing like like the classic like just shouting at the screen, being scared, and that
Right,
kind of like
right,
playing up at the camera.
right.
I'd seen that a few times, and those videos didn't really interest me. So when it came out on PlayStation Plus, that's when I downloaded it and played it, and the rest is history.
So one last question about Outlast, and then we'll continue. But did you happen to see the physical cover of the like actual copy that you can get out on April 25th when Outlast 2 comes out? But did you happen to notice the artwork for the physical case?
I didn't look at it properly. I knew it was coming out, but
So you haven't seen it at all?
I've seen it. I haven't
You haven't really looked at
like
it?
studied it.
Well, anyway, just to help you here, if you actually study it, Jack, I've noticed when I looked at it on GameStop.com, because that was actually so far the only place I can see it for pre-order right now, which is kind of weird. But anyway, I noticed Traeger's on it, and I noticed what's his face was on it. I want to say Chris Walker was also on it too, but the other guy is like new. Like he's kind of, I hate using the word, but it's true. But he's like chubby. It's a chubby guy all the way to the right, and I've never seen him before. So it makes me wonder what this guy is, because I'm assuming he's going to be a big role in Outlast 2.
Yeah, I see now. Yeah.
Yeah, you see.
Yeah, he's definitely a new character, 100%.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder when I first saw that, like, what type of role this guy has.
I'd assume he's like a Chris Walker or like a main character.
Right.
So hopefully he'll have a good personality and all that, and
Right.
he's one of the main like kind of figures that's always going to be over.
Right. My other friend was mentioning that he might know like what Red Barrels could do with DLC wise too, and they were thinking when Outlast 2 comes out, since it's about a husband and a wife trying to get some evidence about this like missing people that gone missing, so it pretty much points them to this farm, and they were saying like, or my friend was hoping that like within the main game that somehow you kind of cross paths with your wife, and then he's hoping with the DLC that you play as his wife, so you can kind of see like what she went through. Do you kind of like that idea?
I do like that. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I kind of hope they do something like that, because that would be pretty neat. Kind of like what they did with The Evil Within with Kidman. You got to see her background story.
This is the thing, like, I always think this, like, when you're looking for someone who's been kidnapped in a game or a film or something, you're always thinking, what is the other person actually doing? And And I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, I agree with it. So everybody get your panties and diapers ready because Outlast 2 comes out next month on the 25th of April. And you can also get, it's called Outlast Trinity, where you can get Whistleblower with the main game of Outlast and Outlast 2 on one disc for I think it's like $40. So it's not that bad at all. But, so let's keep going a little bit, because I do have to pick up my girlfriend pretty soon, so it kind of sucks because I would like to get most of these questions, but let's see how far we can get.
We can do a part 2 someday.
Yeah, we could. We can see what we get to before we have to call it quits. But so the next question is, what other horror games have you streamed since Outlast?
Since Outlast, I've done Slender Man. That was fun.
I did enjoy that.
I've done the Resident Evil games as well. Most recently, Resident Evil 7, of course.
Oh, not to cut you off, but before I forget, did you hear the newest news about Capcom? What they're going to be doing this autumn?
No.
Did you ever play Resident Evil Revelations, the first one? With Jill Valentine?
I didn't. Are they doing an HD remake?
They are. It's coming out in autumn.
So I might have to pick that up.
That would be good for you since you've never played it. I just wanted to throw that out there. But please continue. So you were saying Resident Evil, which I think I saw you stream the Resident Evil, the first one, the remaster that they did. Resident Evil 4, of course, which, in my opinion, was the last good Resident Evil game, because that was Shinji Mikami's last Resident Evil.
Yep. Resident Evil 7 was really good.
I didn't really care for it.
No? Okay. Fair enough.
Maybe one day, Jack, we'll have maybe you can join us that day when we do a Resident Evil conversations, because you're more than welcome to join that too, to help defend it if you want to.
So we can have a good discussion about it.
Oh, yes.
Pretty good.
Yes. But you also streamed Evil Within, because I remember you doing that. I remember watching you with that. And I don't...
You turned me on to that, actually.
Did I? I forget. Did I?
And that was... Yeah, you did, yeah.
I can't remember that. I don't know why. Probably because I was just so excited that it was Shinji Mikami's game, where he finally was back directing a game that I knew I was going to love, which I did. Did you love it?
Yeah, that was a fantastic game.
Oh, God, yeah. Did you play all the DLCs, by the way? There was only 3 of them, but...
I did.
Yeah?
I didn't finish the
Keeper?
Last one, though. The Boxman one. Yeah, the Keeper.
He had an interesting story, too, which you'll get to know, too, if you ever go back to play the Keeper DLC. You'll actually get to see the Keeper's backstory as well. So you'll see he's not just some angry guy with a box head, I guess I'll say.
Yeah.
But, okay, so when you were streaming, or playing even, you also did PT, too. PT, which, unfortunately, I came in just as you were terrified, and because my girlfriend kind of loves horror, too, she was wondering about this game, and I said, you can't play it anymore because PlayStation got rid of it. But now, Jack, with the new PlayStation 4 update, you can, if you have a USB 3.0, which is I forget what it is, 250 gigabytes, or whatever, you can actually take game applications now and put them on their USB. So I'm almost thinking about getting one of those USBs and transferring PT off my system and locking up that freaking USB, though. But, But I did go back with Tessa because she did some looking at that game too, and she actually told me herself that she said, "Fuck that! I am never playing that game because I couldn't even do it.
So
I wouldn't be able to do it." But
You cut off like well loads then, sorry I couldn't hear you.
well, what part did you not hear me say?
I said you could transfer games onto a USB.
Yeah, you
So
can.
you can transfer PT on.
Yep. And then
I didn't hear anything else.
Okay. Okay, well, I pretty much just said my girlfriend did some research on it, and then she came back saying she wouldn't fucking play it because it would scare the living hell out of her. So we ended up watching you because that's why I was asking about your PT video that one time, because I was just like, I remember you streaming it, and I remember coming in, and you were already terrified, so I missed whatever was terrifying you. And so as I rewatched it, I was just like, I see now what I miss.
That game, man, it was a masterpiece. It was art, seriously. It was so good. But I couldn't play it again. It's like...
Let me ask you this. Do you still have it? Or did you get rid of it?
I do have it, yeah.
Okay, good. But
I upgraded my hard drive in my PS4.
Nice.
And I actually went and got another hard drive just so I could back it all up. So I've got 2 copies of
Very nice.
PT, essentially.
Very nice.
I love that game, but don't at the same time. It was the most stressful experience. One of the most stressful experiences I've ever had.
What about PT was like terrifying you? You were kind of like talking about it when you were streaming it. From what I was seeing, you were saying something like just the environment and like the sounds alone and everything else, especially the what was her name? Lisa.
Lisa, I think. Everyone's calling her Lisa.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the main things was the unknown. It was like familiar, but not at the same time. So when you first start, you go through the corridor, and you know it's going to be scary.
Right.
You then make your way round to the door, and you go through the door, and you come back to the same place. And it's a corridor, but something's changed. And it's that constant cycle of you don't know what's coming next. You think something's going to jump out at you, and there's some weird stuff going on, like noises in the bathroom. Bathroom's always scary, especially if they're dirty. I don't know why.
Especially with the whatever in the sink, the fetus or whatever that thing is.
Yeah. Stuff like that. When it comes to that sort of stuff, I get freaked out. But yeah, it's different, but it's the same. It's the same corridor, and you go through it a few times. But you just like something changes each time, and then you see the Lisa, and so you've got an extra thing of stress added to you. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Well, not just that, but you gotta like piece together this photo so you can stay alive, so that way like Lisa can't kill you. And then you gotta wait for the baby laugh, which was like 3 baby laughs, and then you had to hold still, even with your controller, I guess. And then you had to like answer the phone.
There's never there hasn't. Well, when it first came out, you were meant to figure it out all by yourself, and you literally didn't know what you had to do.
Right.
Like there's nothing was said about it.
Right. Which even the creatives themselves who made PT, they were shocked at how fast we figured out their game, I guess. So
I think someone figured it out, by accident.
That's probably what happens with any game.
Which is not that surprising, to be fair, because if you've got, hundreds of thousands of people playing this game, one of them's going to do the right sequence of events by accident, yeah.
So, I guess, since I probably should call it after this, and then we'll have to do, a part 2, but, did you ever beat PT? Did you ever see what it was supposed to have been?
Myself, personally, I didn't, but my sister did, and so I did see the ending like properly, and yeah, it was fantastic. It was great.
So, I guess what are your thoughts on the whole Konami canon Silent Hills? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a travesty that they got cancelled and Konami is stupid.
I agree.
They had a winning formula there. Everyone was hyped for it. It was probably the best demo. People were even giving it Game of the Year.
Yeah, even though it was like a playable teaser, but yeah, that was like number one.
Yeah. People like excited for Silent.
You're cutting out a little bit, Jack.
The amazing people, it had Hideo Kojima, had Guillermo del Toro, can't say his name, and Norman Reedus, and everyone loves all three of those, so.
Right. You
Crazy.
were kind of cutting out,
Crazy,
so I don't know.
thinking.
Well, you were kind of just cutting out, so I don't know what three things you were saying. You said something about Norman Reedus, and I think Walking Dead, and I have no idea what the hell the other one was.
Sorry.
It's all good.
I said Hideo Kojima, Guillermo, Norman Reedus, those three. So, like, it's a winning combo. Why did they cancel it? I don't know.
I don't know. I guess it was just Konami's just retarded move, as I call it.
Konami being Konami, and Konami out of work.
Yeah, Konami just being stupid. But, Jack, I want to thank you for your time, even though, like, we have to cut it short and I can't really ask you all the questions that I have. But, unfortunately, when the snowstorm comes in, you just got to take your girlfriend to work because she doesn't have four-wheel drive. But it was a pleasure to have you on here. You're more than welcome to always come on our show, or my show, whatever you want to call it. But just for the sake, Jack, for right now, where can people like find you for like streams and know like what's up?
I stream over on Twitch at Masuka101. You can find me on Twitter as well, at Masuka101. And that's pretty much it. I don't have a YouTube channel anymore.
Right. Well, you're
thanks for having
redoing
me,
it.
Paul. Yeah, I'm going to redo it. So maybe next time I'm on, I'll be something else.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll have to plan something definitely with your schedule because I know we're in a different time frame. You're like 5 hours ahead of me, so
yeah.
But for everybody else, thank you for listening to this short off-season podcast. We actually made it to at least 6 questions out of the 10 questions that I was going to ask them. So at least there will be a part 2 with Jack. So if you guys liked it, please make sure to share with all your friends. Make sure to give my buddy Jack here a great big follow because he is a very good streamer and he's a very good friend to have. And he will make all your nightmares come true. So until
that's the plan.
Yeah, that's the plan, exactly. So until then, everybody that's listening, stay scary.